Okay, hi friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Fiona. I'm a full-time artist, and on this channel I basically take you with me on my artistic journey. So if that sounds like something you're into, please like and subscribe. I do art hauls, I talk about artist tips, I go see exhibits, basically all art related stuff. So we're gonna do a casual chatty video because I have been on YouTube for 1 year as my chair spins. And yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about why and how I started a YouTube, as well as answer some of your Q&A. So I have my tea, hope you have a drink of choice. Let's get into it. Why did I start a YouTube? Basically back in 2019, I was spending a lot of time on Instagram, specifically stories, and I was basically mini vlogging my life. And it would disappear every 24 hours, and it just felt like such a time suck and disappointing that it would be gone after that. At the same time, I was also doing this thing called Frequently Asked Questions with Fiona, or Fact Friday with Fiona, I think the hashtag was, because I would get DMs from people asking me about my art business, how to become an artist, all sorts of art related questions. And I would put together these posts where I would give artist tips, and I would write a paragraph, and then Instagram would cut me off and I'd say continued in comments, and then there would be a second paragraph and a third paragraph, and it would be like 5 paragraphs in the comments. And I just felt like this isn't really the right format to be giving artist tips. While I was doing that, I was also planning a trip to Japan. So I ended up going to Japan in the fall of 2019. And before going, I was watching a ton of YouTube travel videos, even day in the life videos of J vloggers, and just trying to figure out what I want to do on my trip. And what ended up happening is when I came back from my trip, I continued watching those YouTube videos and then sort of falling down a YouTube rabbit hole and just watching it as entertainment. Instead of TV, I would just spend like hours watching YouTube. I don't know, maybe some of you guys can relate. So I think that was where initially the wheels started turning, where I thought, well, Instagram doesn't seem like the right format for giving artist tips and sort of, you know, documenting my daily life for it to just disappear in 24 hours. And I thought, yeah, maybe YouTube's for me. So going to the beginning of 2020, I had decided, okay, you know what? I'm going to do a YouTube. And I was thinking, oh, I need like a catchy name with art in it. And I thought, oh, art adventures would be good because I'll go see art exhibits and take people along with me. But art adventures was taken. And then I thought, how about the blank artist? And I was trying to come up with adjectives, something that would be catchy, that way people could find me. And I thought about how every time I'm talking to people and they go, oh, what do you do? And I say, oh, I'm an artist. They go, oh, you're an actual artist? And I go, yes, I'm an actual artist. So I ended out titling it The Actual Artist. I got the Gmail, the URL, I even made the YouTube channel. And then the pandemic hit. So during the pandemic, I spent that time to research what would go into starting a YouTube channel, what equipment would I need, how would I edit. And in college, I took like a media arts class that was using Final Cut Pro. So I thought, that's what you use to edit. And when I looked at how much it was, I was like, I need to start saving my money. So I started saving my money to get Final Cut Pro. Then my husband and I bought a house, moved to New Jersey, got a puppy, and started renovating my studio space. That all happened over a couple months period. Still, YouTube was in my head. So when we started renovating the space, I thought, man, I really want to document this, but I didn't have a camera. I didn't really know what to do. I had started watching a channel called CariCakes. She's a YouTuber that does sort of day in the life of her life in Seoul, Korea, and she's like an expat there. Really, really cute stuff. And when I was looking at her camera gear, she was shooting with her iPhone, and I had just got the iPhone 12, which would allow me to shoot in 4K. And I thought, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna start documenting what's going on with the studio renovation. So that was like the first thing I started filming, all of that. I think I even filmed an intro where I used the actual artist like intro. Hi friends, Fiona here from An Actual Artist, and an actual artist needs a studio. So I'm gonna be taking you through my attic renovation. Yeah, that's pretty embarrassing to watch now. Fast forward through the studio renovation, then 2021, the pandemic was starting to improve in that vaccinations were available, things were opening back up again. And I had planned to go to see this Yayoi Kusama exhibit at the New York Botanical, and I had got tickets for me and my mom to go for her birthday. But my dad had made plans, so she couldn't go that day. So I brought my friend Liz and then got tickets for the following week for me and my mom. So I knew I had 2 opportunities to shoot this art exhibit. I was finally gonna shoot my first video. It was like going to be this nice little, you know, exhibit that I could go on this art adventure. It was something I could learn, you know, how to do this vlogging thing, basically. I went with my friend Liz, got some footage, then went the following week with my mom, got even more footage. So I felt like, great, I have so much, it'll be good. And then I was like, oh wait, Final Cut Pro. I had never bought it. So I was talking to my husband about it and he went, well, you have Adobe Creative Cloud because you're, you know, from graphic design. I use it for Photoshop, InDesign, Illustrator, all that stuff for my art business as well as graphic design stuff. And he's like, did they not have any sort of editing stuff in the Creative Cloud that you're potentially already paying for? So I went and I looked into it, and lo and behold, Adobe Premiere. I did not know it existed. I did not know how to use it, but I thought, all right, I can teach myself how to use this. I'm already paying for it, have been for months, years. I got a Skillshare account, took a class on how to do, like a beginner how to do Adobe Premiere. And that's how I learned to edit. Really basic stuff, but it helped me out a lot. And I was able to put together that Yayoi Kusama video as my very first video. Okay, so I made my first video. How do I post it? I don't know how to do any of this. Ended out figuring, you know what, I'm gonna keep the actual artist for when maybe I know a bit better what I'm doing. This first video, I'm just gonna use like Fiona C, my name, put it out there, see what my friends think, and you know, try and make it as low stress as possible, right? I uploaded that first video. I remember I got like 100 views. I was so pumped. I mean, I'm still pumped when I get 100 views, like for real. But it was a good accomplishment and I really enjoyed it. So I think that was a big motivating why I've stuck with it for the last year. I really enjoyed the process. I enjoyed the filming. I enjoyed the editing, like all aspects of it. I really enjoyed doing it. I knew from watching a lot of YouTube videos on how to do a YouTube that consistency was sort of the key to success. So I knew that I wanted to keep posting more. And I decided, okay, I'm gonna post 1 video a week and see how that goes. That's actually what I've done pretty consistently up until I would say that 1 month I had to take off because of my father's passing. I've been consistently posting 1 video a week and now I'm trying to get back onto that cadence again. I learned that that's like really the key to getting the momentum and the algorithm to be on your side. Just do at least 1 video a week, 2's even better, but try and consistently have that 1 video a week. Hello, I'm back. Take a little break because my husband brought me a coffee. Anyway, where was I? Right, posting consistently. The other thing that I learned at this time, because I had 3 videos up and I was still learning like how to get more views and things like that, is YouTube is a search engine. It is owned by Google after all. So I found this Chrome extension called YouTube Buddy, where basically it would help me find more searchable terms for my videos. So that's like how to title it, tags, and then just adding more like SEO terms into the description of the videos. So once I kind of learned that, I put up my 4th video, which was an art haul. I knew about unboxings and like clothing hauls and stuff like that were popular, but I had no idea how popular art haul videos are on YouTube. In fact, I think that's how many of you guys have found me. I had never watched another art haul before that, so I'd seen clothing hauls, so I kind of thought, oh, you just show it off. It's like the same thing. Anyway, posted that, got like 10K views, started to get many more subs, and yeah, it was unexpected. It's pretty hard to learn on camera, you know? Like, I had just only edited 3 videos before putting that one up, so I was still learning a lot. I mean, I'm still learning a lot, but I guess this is where I say thank you, because you guys have been so easygoing with me. You've been great with the feedback, and it's really helped me to grow and like feel like it's a comfortable space to do that. And I think this is also where I kind of tossed out the actual artist channel and went, I'm just gonna keep it here on my name and keep doing my thing as an artist, and hopefully that'll still attract people to want to come here and see what I'm doing. Thank you for being here. I genuinely mean it. It's been a great experience to be on YouTube, and I'm really looking forward to seeing like what more videos I can make. And yeah, I'm gonna hope that you enjoy them too. Okay, now with all of that said, I am going to do a little Q&A. I have your questions here, so I'm just going to get into it. My friend Yvonne, she said, how are you doing? Thank you so much for asking. That is so nice. I am doing okay. Peaks and valleys, you know? So, with my dad's passing and my health crisis, it's been very up and down. Well, mostly down with that stuff, but then up because, you know, the mural was just such a dream of mine to do, and there's been such a great response to it. And then, you know, I have the art fair coming up, which is always exciting. So yeah, peaks and valleys. I'm doing okay though. Thank you for asking. How are you doing? Tell me how you're doing in the comments. Butterbean Cats D says, what is your favorite color? My favorite color is red, although I do have an affinity for pink, which I feel is similar-ish to, like, red, pink are kind of in the same world, but red is my favorite color, like a fire engine red. PAL Mommy says, what is my favorite drink and snack? Oh, what is it? Well, I'll just talk about recently. Recently, I've been obsessed with like strawberries, blueberries, and banana. I've been making like a strawberry, blueberry, banana smoothie, and sometimes I'll put little chocolate chips in it, but that's like been my most recent snack, I would say, is just like a fruit-packed smoothie, which if you've known me for years, you would know that fruit has never been my favorite. Like, it was actually probably my least favorite thing, and then I don't know why. Maybe it's the medication I'm on, but I'm really, really craving fruit. So that's what I'm into lately. And then I guess that's also a drink. So can that be like a snack and a drink? But I guess outside of that, I like an iced coffee. I always drink decaf, so it's that weather for it now. An iced latte. Latte, hot or cold, is probably my favorite drink. Next question is, can you recommend a varnish for Posca markers? And thank you for your work and inspiration. Thank you so much for watching. A varnish for Posca markers. Let me go see. Hold please, I'm gonna go take a quick look. Okay, I'm back. So this is what I use. I'll leave a link to it in the description, but it's a Krylon UV resistant clear acrylic coating. So it protects against harmful UV light rays. I spray this on my stuff. I never had a problem. I do it with acrylic paint, and then the Poscas are also acrylic paint. So I think that should work. But if you guys have any recommendations, leave them in the comments below as well. So Ina says, congratulations. What was your biggest challenge to start the YouTube channel? I would say the biggest challenge in starting a channel, trying to figure out how to edit, what's the right equipment to use. It's kind of all those little pieces, how to upload, because you would think, oh yeah, you just click and drag and you're uploaded, but then there's a lot of forms you have to fill out before something gets uploaded. So it was all sort of those small challenges, but I just kind of took it bit by bit. So like, first step, what am I recording on? How do I get the files off of my phone onto my computer? Okay, how do I get them into the program? How do I edit a video? How do I add music? Like, it's all those little steps, but if you're kind of doing it one by one, it doesn't become as challenging. You just kind of do it bite-sized as you go. And especially for me, just knowing that first video, I was like, I'm just gonna do this one video. It's gonna probably be 10 minutes, and like, in this little box, you know, like it's not like a series or anything that I have to think outside for more. But now I would say my biggest challenge is time management, because, you know, I like to put effort and time into my videos and then thinking, should I be spending this time on making art instead? Which honestly is still a challenge for me, but I do know that this is also important for documenting my work, sharing my work, getting more interest out there about what I'm doing and what I'm about. So I do feel it's important, but then some days I'm like, I feel like I should be painting instead. So that's probably the biggest challenge now. So the next question is, how has moving out of New York City affected your work? Has a change of environment made a difference? How has it affected my work? Maybe I don't know yet how it's affected my work. I don't know if I've lived here long enough in this house, but truth be told, I grew up in New Jersey, and then, you know, I lived in New York for 12 years before moving back out to the suburbs. So I don't think it's changed my work as much as it's changed maybe my social life and how much I would typically like attend openings and other things, because now it's a bit more of a jaunt to get to that. But in terms of my work itself, I'm not sure. I'm not sure it's changed it yet. Sorry, that's like not a great answer, but I don't know. Maybe there's less chaotic energy in it. I know that I am trying to move into a space of more calm in the work and trying to pull back that balance. I think a lot of the chaos and the layering that came in recently in my work had to do with the pandemic though, and less to do with being in New York, if that makes sense. But I guess time will tell. Thanks for asking. Patrick asks, do I have a pencil currently crooked in my left ear or right ear? Right ear? I'm saying that because I'm a righty, but maybe you're creative and you're a lefty? I don't know. I'm going right ear. So Kate wrote, congratulations, I'm so happy for you, and it's been great to follow your videos and get to know you. Oh, thank you. It's been great to know you guys too. I would love to know how you met your husband, and if you could live in any time period, where would you go and why? My husband and I met at a house party in Brooklyn in 2008. I had just started working in New York City. It was literally my first week of work, and I connected with an old friend who I knew from kindergarten. Like, we grew up together. Then we went our separate ways, you know, for college, and then she was working in the city and so was I. So her and I met up for lunch one day, and she goes, you know, I'm going to a party Friday night with a bunch of coworkers, you should come. And so I went with her, and Andre walked in the door, and I went over to her and I went, that guy's really cute. Introduced me to him. And she was really good, and she introduced us, and we just hit it off. And we've been together since then. So that's how we met. I like to tell people we met the old-fashioned way, in person, at a house party. And if you could live in any time period, where would you go and why? That was the other part. So, hot take, I would go to the future, not the past. So, the past, not been great for women. And I'm hoping things are going to keep improving for everybody, every woman, every race, everybody. That is my hope for the future. So our sun's not going to explode for another 5 billion years. So, you know, hey, let's jump 1 billion years into the future with hope that we haven't destroyed Earth. Like I'm saying, I am hopeful for our future, that we will get better. Yeah, I swear I am. But I would go to the future, actually. I'm interested to see, are we living on other planets? What else have we discovered? Is there technology that will cure diseases such as the one that I have? And just continuing to make improvements in people's lives. That's what I'm hopeful for, and that's what I would hope to see in the future. My camera battery died. We have 2 more Q&As, and I want to do them, so we're going to do it. The next question is from Javiera. Congratulations. I would like to hear your college life story as an art student. I want to hear about your struggles with being an art student and studying. Also, do you fear blank page and exam stress, having not much money to explore more art? I'm assuming you are a student. In fact, I know you're a student because we talk back and forth. I hope that your exams went very well if you're watching this. My art student story was I went to school for visual communication design, which is a fancy way of saying graphic design, and that was a very tough major to be in. So yeah, I struggled, and we would have very hard year-end reviews. In fact, we would have a portfolio review at the end of every year for the program, and if you didn't pass it, you would be cut from the program. You had the option to redo the year, but I mean, who really wants to do that? So that was really, really stressful. Thankfully, I passed every single one, but I do know people that didn't, and it was very tough. It was a very rigorous program, but that was definitely one of the harder struggles with being in the program, was just a lot of high demand for that portfolio review. With that said, I really enjoyed being an art student. There was a lot of great people I graduated with, people I'm still friends with, and you know, it really taught me about having like a good work ethic as being an artist. And I think that that's a big contributing factor to like why I'm an artist today. I do think the program lacked in teaching digital, because when I graduated, things were just sort of shifting to digital. I actually learned print design, which was great fundamentals, and I'm really glad I have that, but I kind of had to start from scratch with digital, and that's just how it is. It's an ever-changing thing, and it would be funny to do graphic design full-time now, because I think people would probably think I have like an old aesthetic, because things are just so different now in sort of this like meme culture age. But I'm going off on a tangent, and that's probably a good topic for another video. But let's see, what else did you say? Exam stress, not much money. Yeah, money was always hard. I ended up getting a job on campus at the gym, so I would like wash towels in the back and like hand out like equipment for the basketball court and all of that. I would do that a few hours every week, so I would get some scratch so I could afford my art supplies and my books. And yeah, and I would always work 1 or 2 summer jobs just to save up that money so I could afford that. I think that was something other students didn't realize, that being an art student, yeah, you had all your expensive books, but then you had art supplies on top of all of that. It was pretty brutal. But a lot of the things I bought that, you know, I didn't like run through the supplies, I still have. I think I still have like charcoal from my art student days. But overall, I had a very good art school experience. I would recommend it. I went to Hartford Art School. I loved it. Like I said, great people. I had a lot of great teachers. I learned a lot about myself and how to be an artist. And yeah, if you're going to art school, good luck. Okay, last question. It comes from Yanni Rose. Hello again, Fiona. I really need some advice. Yesterday I was dealing with artist block. I had ideas on what I wanted to draw, but then felt a little unsure. Attempted to draw them, but felt unsatisfied. Felt like I messed up, so I would crumble up the paper and throw it away. That's also a bad habit of mine. When I draw and feel like I messed up, I'll crumble the paper to throw it away and start over again. I've been doing it a lot lately. It's very frustrating. The reason I stopped drawing in 2015 was because of my artist block running out of ideas, and I felt like I wasn't improving. I could really use your advice. So I guess the question is like how to overcome artist block. So this is something I would want to make a topic for a separate video, but I would say you're doing the right thing in that you're continuing to make. It's really the only way out is through when it comes to artist block in a lot of ways, but you can also look at ways to inspire yourself. Like sometimes we do need to push through, and then other times, sometimes you just need to put the pencil down, go for a walk, refresh your head, refresh ideas, maybe go to a museum and get inspired, work in a sketchbook instead of directly onto paper. Maybe switching your medium could help you. Maybe you're focusing too hard on drawing. Maybe you need to do watercolor, or maybe you need to do sculpture. Like, there's a lot of different ways to tackle artist block. And those are just like a quick few ideas that I had off the top of my head. But A big aspect of being creative is play. I think we forget too often about play. We become too ingrained in I have this vision in my head that I need to get on the paper, or putting ourselves into sort of confined boxes. When you're being creative, you really need to be open to the idea of play and seeing where the work takes you. So a lot of my work is improvised, and I find that helped me kind of get a lot of the flow going and getting out of creative block, feeling very like boxed into an idea, and just like maybe putting down a different brush stroke that I wasn't expecting, or using a color that wasn't in my original vision. So I find that aspect of playing and being creative can help. And like I said, working in a sketchbook. So working in a sketchbook can do one of two things. You can get your vision out, and then you have like a good place to start before approaching a piece of paper, or it helps you come up with brand new ideas, and you feel like you're not focusing on one idea, you have a wealth of ideas. Actually, that's another good one that my friend Maria would tell you, that when you get stuck on something, switch to a different project. So she's really, really good at that, where she always has multiple projects going on at once, and when she feels that she's getting to a place that she's stuck, she just switches to something else and then continues working on that. So that might be something for you to try as well. Try doing multiple drawings at one time. I don't know. Let me know how it works out for you. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you've made it this far, please like and subscribe if you're not subscribed. It really helps me out a lot. And I will see you guys in the next one. Until then, stay well and stay inspired, my friends. Bye.